Hello, my name is Julie Bryan. I'm a town meeting member from Precinct F, and I am the chair of the advisory committee this year. I'm here to talk about advisory committee's sponsored warrant article 23. Warrant article 23 says to see if the town will vote to improve the requirements for delivery of the advisory report to town meeting by amending article 11 of the general bylaws and or other appropriate bylaws, or take any action in relation thereto. The current bylaw, Article 11, which is the Advisory Committee bylaw, Section 8, which is the bylaw governing the preparation and delivery of the advisory report, says a copy of the report of the committee shall be mailed or delivered to each town meeting member and town department at least 7 days before the commencement of any town meeting. Back in 2020, when COVID hit and the annual town meeting had been postponed, the report was also postponed, and we did some updates, and of course there were lots of discussions about how to properly prepare the report and deliver the report given the restrictions because of COVID, with town hall closed and the inability to get together as a group to stuff and mail envelopes. There were conversations with town council. Because of the COVID emergency rules, we were told that it would be fine to have an electronic version of the report be delivered by posting it on the website and sending it by email to town meeting members, and that would satisfy the bylaw under the COVID rules. However, we ended up having time and bandwidth in order to get that report out in paper version, so it ended up not being an issue. So for several years, advisory committee members and town meeting members have asked about whether or not we need a paper version of the report, given everyone's technological savvy and advancements with using laptops at town meeting and the ability to have the report posted on the website and sent by email. After talking to town council regarding the current bylaw, he has advised that in order to allow an electronic version of the report to satisfy the bylaw, we would have to change the bylaw. Currently, the language in the bylaw requires a paper version of the report to be delivered by mail to every town meeting member and every town department. There were discussions during advisory committee meetings about the fact that it's already available online, that it would be good for the environment for people who didn't want the paper report to not have to get the paper report. There would be some cost savings, about $14.50 per report for printing and mailing. Advisory this year decided to survey town meeting members to see what their preference would be if they had the option to have the report sent electronically. Advisory sent out this following question: if given the option, would you choose to have the advisory report distributed to you by U.S. mail, electronically, or both? The results of the survey were, of the 241 town meeting members surveyed, including the moderator, 223 replied. Of those 223, 114 said they would like it electronic only. 63 said both, and 46 said paper only. So that's about a 50-50 split between those who want it only electronic or want it paper or both. Based on those numbers, we determined that the savings, it would cost only about $1,700 versus $3,400 to print and mail the advisory report. How would this work logistically in the town if we had the ability to give town meeting members the option of having an electronic version of the advisory report? The records would be kept with the advisory committee administrator, and it would be an opt-out of the paper report for town meeting members. So the default would be that they would get the paper version, and only those town meeting members who said they did not want the paper report would not get the paper report. The advisory committee would ask all new town meeting members their report delivery preference upon their election to town meeting, and that preference would stay during their entire tenure as a town meeting member, unless they decided to change their preference, which they would have to do themselves proactively by communicating with the advisory committee administrator. The motion that would be voted on by this year's town meeting reads as follows: that the town vote to amend Article 11.8 of the bylaws to clarify that electronic delivery of advisories report to town meeting by posting a link to the town website and sending that link to the report recipients or any equivalent digital or electronic delivery satisfies the requirement in the bylaw that the report be mailed or delivered to town meeting members and town departments at least 7 days in advance of town meeting by adding the bolded and underlined text. The bolded and underlined text that we're adding to the bylaw reads as follows: the committee shall have the discretion to provide the option for each town meeting member and town department to opt out of receiving a mailed copy of the report, and in such case, the town meeting member or town department shall receive the report by electronic delivery. For purposes of this section, electronic delivery shall include without limitation the delivery via email of a copy of the report or a link to the digital version of the report available on the town website. Advisory believes that this language will allow for the most flexibility in advisory's ability to deliver the report in whatever means the town meeting members prefer. It also allows town meeting members to opt out or to opt back in to receiving the paper report and gives them the flexibility. And as time wears on and technologies change even further, this bylaw allows for that flexibility to change with those times. More people may opt out of receiving the paper copy, and then in another year, maybe fewer people will opt out and there will be more paper versions again. So we believe as a committee that this will allow for that flexibility without being constrained by the requirement that is currently in the bylaw that it must be mailed a paper copy a week in advance. We hope that you will support Article 23 and vote yes on this motion. Thank you.